Well, good afternoon and a warm welcome to a very special location, 1484 by Puro. You find us at the highest point here in the magnificent United Arab Emirates. Jebel Jais is the location for the official launch of the 2021 Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon. The race route and the technical sponsors. Joined by two very special guests, Raki Phillips, CEO of Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Development Authority, and alongside Raki this afternoon, it is Enrico Fili, CEO of RCS Sport and Events. More from these gentlemen in just a second, but before we look ahead to 2021, let's look back on a record-breaking 2020. Well, let's bring the gentlemen to the conversation now. And well, let's start, gents. Not a bad location.
Not too bad. The highest point in the UAE, right here at 1484, our newest restaurant that we just launched. I know the race is on Marjan Island, but we wanted to show you everything that Ras Al Khaimah offers, and this is a very special spot for us.
It really is a special spot, and I want to start with you, Raki, if I can, because this race into its 15th edition this year, I hate to say this, I will say it, I'll say it once, the new norms of 2020 leading into next year. What can runners and participants expect from this 15th edition of the Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon?
The RAK Half Marathon is a legacy that we have in the destination, and it's very, very special to us, and we wanted to make sure that safety and security is the top priority. The destination in 2020, we focused very heavily on safety and security. This is the first race that is Bureau Veritas certified, which is a huge accomplishment, and we wanted to make sure that anyone that comes gets all the safety measures, is comfortable, and there's a lot of changes that the team has put together to ensure that not only is it the fastest race, the funnest race, but also the safest race.
Yeah, and Enrique, I'll bring you into the conversation now. I think there's a tagline. The aim is to make this the greatest half marathon that has ever been raced anywhere on the planet. To do that, there's a couple of entities and a couple of elements. Elite runners is one thing, and we will hear more on that in just a few moments. You were telling me off air, already up to 1,000 runners, non-elite runners signed up?
Yeah, the registration are picking up extremely fast. We are above 1,000, and there are just a couple, maybe 3-4 waves still open, so let's register and not to be disappointed staying off of this beautiful race. It's a tremendous opportunity to race along with the best athletes in the world, but it's also open to family, to the community. We will launch the 1K and the 5K registration in the next coming days. We will have an amazing participation from abroad also, so it's, I think it's will be the best race for sure in 2021.
Now, Raki, we talk about Ras Al Khaimah and what you're doing. You're doing things a bit differently from the other Emirates. You're looking at different kind of gaps in the market. I think one of the key things, and I can't quite believe we're about to announce this, 2023, am I right in saying it, and this is a bit of an exclusive, you are launching a bid for the World Athletics Road Championships?
Absolutely. It is such a great race, and to the fact that they're launching it, we would love Ras Al Khaimah to be the host destination. We have submitted our bid for it, and this is breaking news right now. So we're very happy with our partners to be able to go out for that bid and let it happen in Ras Al Khaimah. That it's the right temperature, it's got the right climate, it's got the right ambiance, everything. And we've got so much experience with the success of the RAK Half Marathon that we think would be the perfect host destination.
Now, I know you're a very positive man, so how confident, give me a rating out of 10, how confident that Ras Al Khaimah will win that bid?
I'm thinking 10 out of 10. I wish.
I like that.
I am a very optimistically positive person, but listen, I think everything that the destination offers, from our hotels, from our attractions, from the scenery that you have, and the fact that you can come to a destination that offers a great race, but also activities that keep you engaged. We're 45 minutes away from DXB, one of the busiest airports in the world. I mean, you can't get anything better than this, and our connectivity is going to be fantastic.
Certainly cannot. A real international flavour to what Ras Al Khaimah are doing down here. Now, I've got to ask you, Enrico, as well, because we're coming back to the 2021 Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon. We are doing things a bit differently. I've said it once, I'll say it again. New norm. I did promise you once. I've said it twice. One thing that you are doing this year, a lovely little addition this, the virtual run training. Tell us a little bit more about how people can get involved in that.
Yeah, the virtual training session are, of course, a digital session where people can train. There are the session of 10K and 5K training session coming. It's a way to stay, let's say, safe in this period, but at the same time to participate to the build-up for the race and train surrounded by professional. And I think it's, let's say, it's the new norm, as you said. Yeah. So it's for the third time. But you know, let's say you need to leverage the digital to stay fit. And let's say this is a great opportunity to participate. The people registering to the virtual are people that never did the marathon, so I think it's a great idea to start. Let's say there will be amazing prizes offered by our sponsor, Joma, Monviso, the DoubleTree Hilton. So it's amazing.
Yes, what you're saying there, Enrico, is it pays to get fit and it pays to run down here. Well, let's now take a little look at not one, but two race routes for the elite and the non-elite in 2021. that is your course. Exciting. Cannot wait. I did run it last year. Cannot wait to do it in 2021. Let's now, though, cross to London. My colleague Tim Hutchings is standing by. He's got some very special guests. Over to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, we're all sitting here ready and waiting for the Ras Al Khaimah 15th edition of the half marathon on the 19th of February. My name is Tim Hutchings, and I'm looking forward to this discussion now with both the race director and the athlete's technical supervisor. Below we can see Andrea Trabullo, the race director. Andrea, welcome. And Federico Rosa, of course, the international athlete's technical supervisor. Federico, welcome as well. Andrea, before we turn to the gentlemen of the press who are in attendance, and thank you very much indeed for your joining us, gentlemen. I would like to ask you, Andrea, you have some news, I understand, about the race routes for this 15th edition of the Ras Al Khaimah half marathon. We know it's the fastest half marathon course in the world. For the last 14 years, it has produced incredibly quick times year after year after year. So why any changes?
You told well, this is the fastest half marathon in the world, and we want that this race maintain its fame, and we are working to have the fastest half marathon in the next year. The course at the moment for the elite race is the same of last year, because we saw that the race is perfect from a technical point of view, flat, and perfect to reach the best performance of the athlete. As you know, this year we have two different routes, one from the elite race and another one for the non-elite race, because we decided to divide in two different moments the race for the reason of the pandemic. So we want to ensure the social distancing, the security of the athlete, the safety. So we are working to put in place all the things necessary to do this. And I think we are doing a good job, and I hope that all the people that will come in the event will enjoy the race and what we are doing.
As I understand it, Andrea, the elite race will be over exactly the same course as last year, and it's the mass race. Those numbers are still building, but I think are around 1,000 to 1,200 so far. It's the mass race that has a slightly changed course.
Yes, the start and the finish of the elite race is exactly in the same place of last year. We moved the start of the non-elite race, 1 kilometer and 400 meters far from the start of the elite. That will be also the final point of the race. And there is really a big space. All the athletes that will come to compete, they have 2 meters from any other runners in front and side. We will have the check of the temperature, thermal scanner, and the sanification, and all the things that are necessary to do the race in the most safety way to ensure all the people to be there.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. I know it must be a heck of a challenge getting it all together, having to take into account the requirements to accommodate the pandemic rulings.
Only one other thing that's important to know. The start will be in a different wave. We will have 7 different waves of a maximum of 400 athlete each one. So it's important to know this, because the people have to arrive and to have the right place for every one of the athletes.
Okay, that's interesting news. Thank you very much, Andrea. Federico, I'll turn to you. You've been recruiting the athletes for this race. I mean, I know many of them want to come and race in RAK every year, but this year has been so special. Most of them have had 1 or 2 races maybe in the whole year. So has it been easy to recruit the big names for this race?
Yes, well, it was a very special year, as everybody knows, and it was a very difficult year. Many athletes, as you said, 1 or 2 competitions, someone even any competitions. And unfortunately, we approach the same situation in the next 5-6 months, as I think everybody knows that most of the major race on road has been announced to be postponed to October. We hope to be a great step for as many athletes as possible to give a chance to have a great competition at a very high level. Of course, there was many requests, which we cannot fill all of them, but we believe we are recruiting an incredible field that we're still on the process to have some confirmation, and then to start to announce great names very soon, starting from today, of course, and will be probably really a great race on timing or challenging on big athletes and especially because will be not many other races around, so that will be a great opportunity. So we really have to thank the Russell Kaiman organization and the local government that give us a chance to put together this field and to give some hope to many athletes for the next future.
Every race director, Federico, wants to have a fast race, a super fast race, but also wonderful competition as well. And I know that you can tell us today of 3 or 4 of the big names that you have definitely recruited.
Yeah, that will be already a super big challenge. As many of you can remember, back at the end of last year in Sao Paulo, there was a fantastic finish in the race in the Sao Paulo San Silvestro when Kibiwott Kandie beat in the last meter a racing star, Jacob Kiplimo. There was a rematch in Gdynia, and Jacob beat Kibiwott Kandie, and then we are very proud and glad to announce that both the athletes will be at the starting of this Russell Kaiman Half Marathon in February. So will be the rematch of these 2 great races and of these great champions, which are both racing stars, as both very young. Jacob is 20, I think Kibiwott is only 23, 24, and that will be great. Another big challenge that is, and also very fast, because as also many of you remember, in Chicago, Bridget Kosgei smashed the world record in marathon, and second was Ababel Yashanea with a great time also. And there was the rematch in Russell Kaiman where Ababel smashed the world record in half marathon and Bridget was second, and then they will meet again together, one against each other in Russell Kaiman in February. So we are very excited for these 2 races, but trust me, will be other many strong athletes that will make the race real fast and very exciting.
That's fabulous news. So just to clarify, that's Jacob Kiplimo from Uganda, the youngster who won the World Half Marathon Championships just a few weeks ago. He's the reigning World Half Marathon Champion. Kibiwott Kandie, who's the defending Russell Kaiman champion and the fastest in the world in 2020. That is the dream clash on the men's side. Never mind about who else might be added. And I know you've got other names up your sleeve, Federico, that you can't tell us about yet. And on the women's side, Ababel Yeshaneh, the world record holder for a women's mixed race, who set that time in Ras Al Khaimah back in February this year. Obviously, we're talking about this coming February, the 2021 race. And the clash she will have is up against, as you say, Bridget Kosgei, the world record holder in the marathon, who was second in Ras Al Khaimah last year in the second fastest time ever. So that, again, is the dream clash. I mean, it is any race promoter's absolute dream. And well done for putting that together.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I think that covers our initial discussion with each of you. I know we've got several members of the press present, and I would like to welcome them in now. Gentlemen, if you could turn your cameras on, then it would be lovely to see you. I know that many of you are there with us. I'll turn first of all, and of course I will introduce each of you as I come to you, but first of all, I think from Let'sRun.com, the American website that is a sort of go-to site for many of the athletes who are following the sport very closely day to day. Johnny Gault. Johnny, welcome on board. I know you've got some questions for both Andrea and Federico.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, thanks for making time for us today, guys. The question, I guess I'll start by saying the athletes you mentioned, Federico, Kiplimo, Kandie, Kosgei, and Yashaneh, will they be targeting the world records in February?
Yeah, well, we have not discussed yet, but of course they will try to run fast. And they ran the world record this year for the women. For the men is pretty far away from both of them, but will be also other athletes competing. But yeah, I think that's the challenge is to run the course record for both men and women, which means, of course, world record for women and try to be faster than for the men, which is already a quite fast race.
And for Andrea, many of the top races this year have been canceled due to COVID. Why was it important for you guys to stage this race in February?
We are very happy. It was, it is an hard challenge, but we are sure that we will be able to do it's not a problem to have the race for the elite athlete. The most important problem is to have the race for the mass. And as I told before, we are putting in place everything we can do to maintain the safety of every runner. I think that we'll be able to do everything. At the moment, we have more than 1,000 participants registered. We put a cap on 2,800, and I'm sure we will reach this number. But I don't want to say that everything it is easy. But I'm sure we'll be able to reach our goal.
Then for Federico, about Kosgei and Yashana, you mentioned they had that great race in Chicago a couple years ago.
No, last year.
Are they planning on running spring marathons after RAK?
But I think much will I mean, I don't see any spring marathon actually happening this year unless there's any news. But I think even Boston recently announced is going to move down to fall. All the 6 majors are going to be in fall. So we actually have, hopefully, it's Olympics, which for Bridget is sure. I don't know what about the Ethiopian situation for Olympics marathon, but there's not really a clear plan. Unfortunately, we cannot really make any prediction on anything besides hopefully Ras Al Khaimah. That's why it gives us a lot of motivation to have this race done to give some hope to as many athletes as we can.
Do you think this is the best elite field that has ever been assembled for this race, the RAK half?
I think so.
There's still something that is going on. It's still not completely filled, but yeah, I think so. That should be, let's say, one of the greatest. And you are probably you should say if it will be the greatest or not when everything will be released. I think this should come from you guys, not from us. That we try to do the best job as possible, but we rely a lot on your judgment.
Andrea, Federico, stay ready because we're turning now to Jason Henderson. Jason from AW was Athletics Weekly magazine. I think in your next issue next month, Jason, you're celebrating your 75th anniversary of the magazine. So congratulations to all the AW team. But Jason, please go ahead with your questions.
Thanks very much, Tim. First question for Andrea. Can you talk a little bit more about the challenges of putting on a race like this during the COVID pandemic this year?
Yes, so the first thing to do is understand what we have to do to ensure the safety. We saw what did the London Marathon in October, so we learned a lot from there. And the most important thing is to put in place a protocol to follow from the beginning. We are creating a bubble for the elite athletes, and this is one thing. But from the other side is to do the same for the mass race. For sure, we are not able to have a test for every runner, but we have to check every one of them before the start. So we put in place temperature check, thermal scanners, sanification tunnels, and so on. All the things we can do, we will do. As I told before, the start will be in different waves, 7 waves of 400 participants. Every runner will be 2 meters far from the other. They will start to run with a mask, and after 500 meters, they can put off the mask. And so they arrive at the finish line. At the finish line, they will receive a bag with refreshment and some food. And we try to avoid every moment of people together. This is what we have to do. And cross the finger that everything will go on the best way. But I'm sure that in February the situation will improve from now.
Yeah. And Andrea, the event itself has a reputation for being a super fast course. Can you talk us through the combination of factors that creates these kind of record-breaking conditions?
Yesterday we did a good job. My technical director, which is Andrea Basso, designed a very fast course. We learned from the year before that when the race had a different route. So as it told me, the course is fast, flat, without too much turn. The weather condition is the best because the start is at 6 in the morning, where the humidity is perfect for the runner. And we hope that in the next February the weather will be perfect, because what we can do, we do. The only thing we cannot control is the weather forecast.
Okay, and a question from me to Federico. Can you give us a little bit of insight into how the athletes are training at the moment and how they've coped with the lockdown in their various countries, and also how will this event fit into their overall plans for what will hopefully be the Tokyo Olympics next year?
Well, as I said before, there's no clear plan for anybody, because also Olympics, we all hope it's going to happen, but we have no any guarantee right now. So it's probably was a very difficult period because there was no any plan ahead, and it's difficult to train when you don't have any target. And it was a very challenging moment for everybody. On top, camps in Africa wasn't allowed to be open because of the government restrictions, so athletes had to try to stay together and train in a small group, and not as before in a training camp where they have all everything set and everything well organized. I have to say that, at least for what concerning my athlete, but talking with other agents, they were very disciplined, and they tried to maintain all the restriction and all the procedure that need to be done to avoid any problem. In fact, I think on all the races that has happened from June up to now, I think only one athlete has been caught positive for COVID, or two if I'm not wrong, in all the events that has been done, which is great. It means that they really take care. On the other side, the Ras Al Khaimah is normally a very important race for many athletes entering in the marathons in spring, as most of the best athletes they used to run there as a tuner to be ready for the marathon for London, Boston, and the main races. So it's for sure a great step for everybody, for all of them to resume their training, and of course for Olympics and for everything going on later, because then we'll be already end of February in the full of season, and where they will have, we hope we have a serious target on what is going to happen later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Jason. I'll turn now, I'm very aware of the time catching up on us. I'll turn now to Amit Pasela from the UAE's the national newspaper. Amit, welcome on board. You have some questions for Andrea or Federico?
Yeah, I have a question for Andrea.
Yeah.
Ras Al Khaimah is bidding to host the World Half Marathon in 2023. Will you be using this race to do some promotional thing for RAC?
This is a good, the best opportunity for us to have a great event to promote the bidding for the World Championship in 2023. This year probably we will have the best elite field of athletes than ever. So what better opportunity than this?
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Tim.
Amit, thank you very much indeed. That's a mention of the World Championships bid for 2023. Even has got the dog incited. I'm delighted about that. I mean, Federico, you pointed out that there are no spring marathons for these athletes to aim at as normal. There's no Paris, London, Boston, you name it. 20 other big marathons around the world would normally be in the March, April, May period. So this could be the only race for many of these top athletes for many, many months. It might not be until we get into the summer, maybe the few athletes, remember only 3 from each country, who run in Tokyo before we then get into the September, October cycle of Chicago, New York, obviously Berlin, and so on. It could be makes this race all the more precious, I suppose.
Yeah, I can say a lot because, of course, we try to help as many athletes as possible. We can't help everybody as we have a limited field due to all the COVID procedure. But yeah, we give also a lot of challenging to athletes that are not, unfortunately, will be able to compete. But still, give a hope to many of them. That is the most important stuff.
I'd like to turn now to James Jose from the Khaleej Times. I hope I pronounced that correctly, James, if you're there. My apologies if I've got that name wrong.
Yeah, question for Andrea.
Yeah.
You spoke about the bubble. So how is this bubble going to operate, especially during these times? How is this going to operate?
Yes, the bubble will start from the country where the athletes arrive. They must be tested before the start. When they flight and arrive in Dubai, they will be tested again, and so they will enter in the bubble. We will have an hotel, a part of the hotel only for the elite athletes, and they must be there till the day of the race. They will run the marathon, and when they come back in the same place till when they will come back to the airport. They will be tested also after the race before leaving the way. And it seems easy, but you have to know that we have a large number of athletes, and we have to do everything for every one of us. But we have a good team, a good staff, and we are sure that all the athletes will be checked in the perfect way.
Gentlemen, I think that concludes our discussion. Thank you very much indeed to each and every one of you. Andrea, in particular, I know you're a busy man. Thank you. And Federico as well. Good luck with the further recruiting. We look forward to more names being announced in coming weeks. And to each of you, Johnny, Jason, Amit, Alaric, and James, once again, thank you very much indeed. So, back to you, Chris.
Well, fantastic news. And thank you for that, Tim. Raki, I've got to come to you here. Defending champion of the men, defending champion of the women, back for 2021. Great news.
I'm excited to see them come back. I mean, last year when the records were broken and it being the fastest half marathon in the world, I know we were cheering in the stands. They were phenomenal athletes. To see them at top of their game and to do it right here in Ras Al Khaimah on Marjan Island. What a stunning course, and I'm so excited to have them back.
Now, Enrico, I'm popping you on the spot. Cannot reveal too much on this, but there may be a big announcement in the coming weeks.
Yeah, of course, there will be an announcement in the coming week, a surprise. I cannot say anything, of course, but let's say we will keep the pace of being the fastest half marathon in the world. So stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. Watch this space. Now then, new shirt for 2021. Let's hope this works. Let's take a little look at this. Here it is. Boom. That did work. Right. Look at this. This is the unveiling of the shirt for 2021. It is blue. I believe blue is the colour. It is lovely, is what it is. And it's nice to see as well, Enrico, Joma back once more.
Joma is our partner in this event. It's an amazing brand coming from Spain that is growing at an exceptional speed. It's covering many sports and is proudly supporting Ras Al Khaimah and the Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon. I think the jersey is fantastic in terms of material. Last edition we had a tremendous feedback from the participants, and let's say next year will be even better. So it's a great sponsorship that we have, and we will keep it.
I am excited, is what I am. Raki, I will give you the final word on this. The legacy coming up to the 15th edition, Ras Al Khaimah, the half marathon. It's here to stay. Excited for 2021?
No pressure at all. No, we are very excited. We're so happy to be able to welcome people back. I mean, sports tourism is such a big, important pillar in the tourism entities that we're trying to create here in Ras Al Khaimah. We're very active. The destination is a nature-based destination. So for us to be able to bring the RAK Half Marathon for its 15th year, really being such a long-standing event, couldn't be more excited.
I'm excited. I know an awful lot of people watching this are as well. Mark the date in your calendars, folks. Friday, February 19th, the 2021 Ras Al Khaimah Half Marathon. I'm excited. I know the guys are too. Raki, bless you. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Enrico, the most stylish man in Ras Al Khaimah, thank you for your time this afternoon as well. And a massive thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Make sure to sign up. Places are limited, of course. I'll say it for the final time for the new norms. From us here atop Jebel Jais, the highest point in the United Arab Emirates, we bid you adieu.